So we have the playing 11 for the England team ahead of the Leeds test, which begins tomorrow.
Yeah.
And some surprises, some not so expected returns. You may say Mark Wood is in firstly, but the biggest update we have is no James Anderson. Yes, James Anderson misses the cut for the Leeds test against Australia. And it kind of sums up his struggles in the baseball era. I mean, 2 matches, 77 overs, 3 wickets at an average of 75. So maybe it is a blessing in disguise for England that perhaps Anderson's not there. Maybe he can get better conditions at Old Trafford or at the Oval. So that is the biggest update that we have got as far as the England team is concerned. No James Anderson. And heading into this match, Harshit, you also did a video on Sports Today that you can very well see it. First, there was this kryptonite argument.
Yeah.
Second was the age factor. Do you think Anderson saw the writing on the wall that, okay, maybe he will not be selected for Leeds and the condition will not suit his kind of bowling?
You know, those comments sort of gave me a feeling that I do buy the one thing which he's mentioned about his age. But the fact that, I think he does cut across, cuts as a figure who's not really happy at the moment with the way Test cricket is played by England. And that has to do both with, of course, with things happening with the bat. I'm sure it concerns him a little less, let's say. But his bowling is now getting affected by the way the approach of the team is at the moment, because you get those kind of tracks at the moment as well. Something which he sort of distanced himself in those latest comments, the video that Siddharth was just alluding to. He didn't call the pitch a kryptonite as far as the Lord's track was concerned, but he did call it a kryptonite as far as Edgbaston is concerned. But at the moment now, and we all know what to expect out of Leeds. So this was it was gaining more momentum. The fact that things weren't going his way, and perhaps now if the tracks continue to go around this way, then you would perhaps not see James Anderson be taking part, and that's exactly what has happened. So no surprises over there, firstly to begin with, because in some ways you could pick this even after the test match, the second test match had ended. You could see that this was perhaps, as Siddharth said, the writing on the wall. Let's now, we've talked about James Anderson, but let's just talk about two other inclusions that have happened as far as the England squad are concerned.
So you know that Ollie Pope has been ruled out of the entire Ashes because of a shoulder dislocation, and he will have to undergo surgery very soon. So his summer is done. In comes, very surprisingly, Moeen Ali.
Yes, now quick recovery.
Yep.
Quick recovery for Moeen Ali, by the way. He had, I think, he had a cut.
Yep.
He had a cut on his spinning hand, which is why he could not take part in the previous test match. What it's now done is, yes, he's undergone some quick recovery and he's been declared match fit. So, he is match fit. Mark Wood is now match fit, and that's the big update for you guys. Mark Wood, somebody who was touted to be taking part in this third test match. England, of course, looking for a win. And in this baseball era where you're looking at, flatter tracks and not a lot of assistance off the deck, the one X factor that he brings in, Mark Wood, is his express pace.
Exactly. I mean, if it was very unfortunate for England that Mark Wood unfortunately had to sit out for the first two tests because of the injury that he sustained.
Yeah.
However, in a high-profile Ashes series, for England to not label him match fit even for the second test kind of seemed to be very puzzling. Because remember, in the last game that he played against Australia at Hobart in 2021, you can recall Mark Wood with his express pace took 6 for 37.
Yeah.
He troubled the Australians on a very green track. He got pace, he got bounce. And again, if the track at Leeds is anything but flat, because normally you see that Leeds has assisted grass, there's been grass on the wicket, has assisted movement.
That's what one of the pictures is suggesting.
Yes, but I think that is just a smoke screen.
Smoke screen. Yeah. Also, there was a picture, by the way. Don't fall for it already.
Yes.
Because similar pictures for the WTC final also. Let's not forget, we're doing the rounds.
It was only a matter of millimeters that the pitch
It was only
changed.
a matter of millimeters, and that in fact was a pitch that was somewhat clicked about 30 hours back or so. You expect some trim to happen today, and of course ahead of the match as well. So don't just fall for that. But England's decision is far more to do with the playing conditions. This is in fact to do, let's say, with the kind of zone that James Anderson sort of finds himself in. Yeah, and also just to add to that, Ben Stokes had also earlier suggested that if Mark Wood was fit, then they perhaps would have gone ahead with him and not James Anderson, somebody who likes to pitch the ball up. He looks for a swing, but those are conditions that haven't, been
suitable
and those conditions haven't been there
Yep.
so far.
But if you want, but kind of, if
Ashes.
you look at it, they have kind of thrown a googly with their third major change that is there.
Yes,
and
let's
that
talk
is,
about the third change now.
it may have gotten the tongues wagging for a lot of media scribes, but yes, there is no Josh Tongue. And that is why Chris Wokes, he is back in the scheme of things after a very long time, because Wokes primarily has been bought in because of his potency against the left-handers. He's troubled the likes of David Warner in the past. He's also troubled Usman Khwaja. So maybe just for that factor, Chris Wokes is in, and that's why if you look at the pace bowling lineup now, you got Wood, you got Chris Wokes, you got Broad, you got Ollie Robinson.
So you expect Broad and Mark Wood to be leading the pace bowling attack. Then of course your first change,
I would say Stuart Broad and Chris Wokes, because Wokes is a brilliant new ball operator. Then first change
Then
is
perhaps
Ollie Robinson, second change
Maybe.
Mark Wood. You want in the middle overs and the ball is old, express pace, bowl at the bodies of the Australians. Because remember, what made the difference at Lords?
That's the thing with Mark Wood. Again, with his express pace, again, you can go either ways. Depends on the conditions. Yes, of
Yes.
course, if the ball can move around a bit, you can just trust him a bit with his express. If the ball just moves half a millimeter with his pace, well,
It is trouble. So
it is, gonna be
basically,
trouble.
this is the playing 11 that England have announced for the Leeds test. This is the playing 11, let me tell you. So it is going to be Ben Duckett. He had a brilliant Lords test.
So the top four remain the same, except of course the fact that there is no Ollie Pope.
Ollie Pope. So you've got the likes of Harry Brook, you've got Ben Stokes, Johnny Bairstow. That is the batting lineup. Root is at number 3, which he will occupy. Then you've got Zach Crawley as well. So Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, then you've got Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, Johnny Bairstow. Then you've got Chris Wokes. Then you've got Mark Wood, Moeen. Then you've got Stuart Broad and Ollie Robinson.
But perhaps, Siddharth, and correct me if I'm wrong with this interpretation, I think what these changes have done is it's sort of bolstered the bowling attack, but the tail has become bigger now.
Well, anyway, if you say Wokes and Moeen do have centuries,
They
so does
do.
Stuart Broad. But,
But
yeah,
again-
Broad is not the same Stuart Broad with the
Yeah.
bat that he was 10 years ago.
Broad will still come into bat at number
9.
8 or 8, would it be?
Mostly 9. You'll have Moeen and then you'll have Wokes. Then you'll get
Well,
Broad.
but then you'll get Broad. So,
But already a lot of our family members are stating retirement time for Jimmy Anderson, because he's not getting any younger. He's going to be 41. And if he doesn't play the remaining 3 Ashes tests,
you could.
bye-bye James Anderson.
But that's not one of the things on his mind.
Yeah.
That's what he said in this recent interview that he's had. He says that retirement isn't something that's on his mind. Of course, every time he goes through a lean patch of sorts, he says, my age is gonna come into question, and people are gonna question his
Because
age.
remember, every Ashes series, you see some legends retire. And you saw in 2015 Michael Clark retiring. You saw in 2013 Jonathan Trott and Graham Swan also retiring. You saw Kevin Peterson exit the door. 3 brilliant legends. 2023, are we going to see the end of James Anderson? Oh, that will be sad, because make no mistake about it, let us not judge him by the 2 bad matches that he's had out of the remaining 180 plus 181 tests. Along with Dale Steyn, he has been one of the greatest ever bowlers. So yes, there's the Steyn versus Anderson argument going for some other time, but yes, sad that Anderson isn't there in Leeds. But yep, anything England have to do to come back into the Ashes, they will do it. Because remember, they have to win at Leeds, nothing else. They have to win. If they don't win, the Ashes stays with Australia.
Yeah, even if they manage to make it 2-2, again,
Australia
will
keep the
retain
Ashes.
the Ashes. Australia will retain the Ashes.
So big changes. No James Anderson, no Josh Tongue, no Ollie Pope, and that's why you've got 3 major changes. You've got Chris
Moeen Ali
Wokes,
comes in, Chris Wokes comes in, and then you've got Mark
Wood. Yes, the express pace of Wood. Let's see how Australia respond. The Leeds test begins tomorrow. It's going to be action-packed. So from me, Har and Harshit here, we'll be back for all the latest updates from a lot of sporting action still coming your way. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget, We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to download the Sports Talk mobile app for all the information
Those
you
guys
need.
there, you see.
Yep.
Guys, if you can give your family members a wave.
Wave.
Yeah, those folks over there, they'll keep you updated with everything happening all across in the world of sports. Thanks from
Bye-bye.
Siddharth and me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Rock says bye as well, guys.